Hello and welcome to this ABA presentation. You are going to learn a lot about how it's important for humans and AI to collaborate to provide a better stakeholder audience experience across the board. I'm Shakira Brown, and there's a lot about me you can learn, but one thing you need to know is that I am a leadership communication expert, a strategist. I do a lot on effective communication, team alignment, emotional intelligence, which is really important right now in the intelligence age, responsible AI implementation, all of that mixed in with human soft skills, which of course are not so soft. I'm the founder of my own company, SMB Strategic Media and Workforce Training, and I have a background in television news and journalism in general, and public relations, internal communications, corporate communications. So I have a lot of experience in dealing with various changes and shifts in communication over the last few decades. And now I'm at the forefront of helping people like you kind of get used to humans collaborating with artificial intelligence. Today's presentation, Leading Through the Intelligent Age, Human AI Collaboration to Future-Proof Motor Coach Industry Workforces. Your learning outcomes are really focused in on building competitive advantage through responsible human AI partnership. What I'm seeing is that a lot of organizations are rushing to implement AI and not providing enough guidance for its humans that are still working for them to help them understand how they should integrate what they're doing right now as humans with how they can use and implement artificial intelligence to enhance whatever it is that their roles of responsibilities are. So I'm hoping that through this presentation, you'll have a better understanding of what's really important about human AI collaboration. Please stay to the end. And I have four amazing continuing education gifts that I'd love for you to take advantage of. No cost, no obligation, but just some way of providing you with opportunities to continue to learn following this webinar. Now let's get into the current state of AI in organizations. And this really is a reality check. Communication is a high demand human skill in the intelligence age. And there is plenty of proof for that. It's not just Shakira Brown saying this. This is really coming from a lot of the industry leaders in HR and, of course, in information technology. What I have for you here is a snapshot of a survey that was conducted by the company Workday. And they titled this report, Elevating Human Potential, the AI Skills Revolution. And what they found are the top 5 human-centric skills believed to be irreplaceable by AI. As you can see, the top one, human networking and relationship building, was noted as 28% of those surveys saying you still need to have humans involved with networking and building relationships. And I completely agree with that, despite the fact that there are people who are establishing relationships with AI. But right now in the business world, humans are still relied upon for those. The next was the same amount of folks said emotional intelligence and empathy. Although we can train AI to have or express empathy, it's not real because it's trained to do it. Whereas humans naturally have the ability to exhibit emotional intelligence. And of course, ethical decision making and moral judgment, conflict resolution, and cultural sensitivity and adaptation all top the list of human centric skills that can't be replaced by AI. And in addition to that, they also happen to ask, what do you believe are the main benefits of using AI to enhance productivity in your department? This is just one of the skills groups that they found that most of those surveyed said, hey, we still need to focus in on being able to enhance productivity using AI. And some of that included interpersonal connection and collaboration, right? So the qualities that really were emphasized in this group are highlighting the enduring importance of human connection, collaboration, communication, conflict resolution, human networking, negotiation, and persuasion. All really something that humans do today, but now we have AI to help enhance these, to make it easier, to make it more efficient, so that we can focus on all of the tasks and roles and responsibilities that humans are 100% expected to take on. So you're probably thinking right now, why does this matter for motor coach and group tour travel industries? Well, the productivity gains from AI are really uneven. And what we're finding is all of the algorithms and all of the large language model tools, they really can't fix systematic business issues. The passenger safety issue can't not be 100% automated. It probably could be in the future, but right now it still requires human judgment in crisis situations. Those that moment where a human has the ability and the knowledge base already built in them to make decisions on the fly. Same thing with crisis communication. Real time decision making in emergencies requires human experience. Not to say that AI won't be able to do that later, but right now, humans are still valued for that. Team leadership, driver supervision, and coaching demand emotional intelligence, really understanding where people feel and making sure that individuals are being seen and heard. Humans do that, right? And then, of course, the CX, the customer experience, relationships with tour groups built on trust and personal connection. A lot of that has to do with personalization in general, right? There's some organizations that you deal with, some partners, industry partners, that require not just a cookie cutter approach, but that customization that's needed for customer satisfaction. So that's why it really is important that we keep humans really at the forefront of everything that we do today. Cross functional collaboration, really breaking down those silos for AI success. When we talk about building an AI collaboration model, it's definitely something that organizations must approach from an implementation and a deployment perspective. Today, we're seeing that some organizations across industries find that a unified department model where you have operations working with HR and safety all under one umbrella for AI oversight, because the implementation and deployment of these separately could lead to a lot of misunderstandings, or whether it's stakeholder or employee journeys that that are not understood, and some things are missed when that happens, right? And then we find some other organizations are just going ahead and creating new roles. The AI leader in an organization, or the chief AI officer. This is someone who is designated to be dedicated to building cross-functional AI implementation. And I think that that is really something organizations should think about, is having this one individual who is able to look across and see how these different departments are implementing or thinking about implementing AI, and really thinking about the cause and effect of such activities. And accountability check-ins. Some organizations I'm finding that I'm speaking to and working with, they are having regular communication, touch points to ensure accountability across functions. So that again, one department isn't deploying some large language model or some other AI bot that the other department didn't know about, or it's not kind of aligning with it, making sure that they're getting together and talking about these fast, quick changes that are often happening, and not leaving your stakeholder audience, and that includes employees, in the lurch, trying to figure out what the heck is going on because all the departments didn't think to get together to talk about it. How employees feel about the rollout of any initiative matters greatly and should inform next steps. And that's from the Society of Human Resources Management. And they always put out surveys a few times a year at least. And this is one of the statements from one of their surveys. In transportation, Numbers are important, but so are the people behind them. So when we talk about safety adoption, think about the drivers, all right? Are they willing to use collision avoidance systems and report AI flagged concerns? Do they trust it? Do they believe in it? What about team morale? What about your drivers? Do they feel supported or surveilled by monitoring technology? If they feel surveilled, how is that going to make them feel about their jobs and their roles now? Are they going to feel like their managers, supervisors, department heads don't trust them anymore? Do they feel like they are always being watched? Then we have customer impact. Are your stakeholder users confident in AI assisted trip planning and communication? Do they feel comfortable interacting with your AI bot on your website? Do they feel comfortable speaking to artificial intelligence in a phone system that is trying to gather information from them? It really is important to understand the people who are being impacted by your organization, your company's deployment of artificial intelligence. Strengthening the human team collaboration with AI implementation for particularly for the motor coach and travel companies really means safety directors are collaborating with information technology on driver monitoring tools, right? What does it all mean? What knowledge? Again, one of the most important aspects of artificial intelligence and the implementation of it in organizations and companies of all sizes, industries right now is the fact that there is human intelligence that AI doesn't have unless it's been trained to know it. Safety directors know how things went the last time they implemented something that involved technology and drivers. IT knows what the process was last time. So really that type of collaboration needs to continue to happen. Operations managers working with customer service on AI communication. It sounds great to implement this new AI platform that's going to make it easier for stakeholder audiences, customers, whatever partners to be able to do X, Y, or Z. Sounds great, but was there a customer survey that your organization put out there recently that addressed certain issues that might actually make them worse through AI? That's why it's important there's that understanding. HR partnering with operations on scheduling algorithm fairness. Think about it. If you have AI putting together schedules, and then AI may not understand, and I'm going to even correct that. AI probably won't understand who's used to doing whatever shift, who has asked not to do certain things, who doesn't want to go to this location, etc. This is why it's important that HR is working with ops and IT to ensure that these algorithms are fair, that people are being given what they've asked for, what they're expected, what they've earned as far as being able to work certain hours or days or whatever it is. And of course, maintenance teams integrate with route optimization systems, right? Think about the importance of maintenance, of what they do and what they know about your fleet, and optimizing those routes through using AI and making sure that that works with the maintenance, because what if the route optimization system takes the maintenance schedule completely off because it has different vehicles out there doing different things that they're not usually doing at that time, and et cetera, et cetera. You can see what I mean by that. So that's why it's really, really important for human team collaboration when it comes to AI implementation. Establishing trust in AI implementation and use. And that is all about instilling employee trust in AI. Right now, when I speak to any organization and I am doing whether it's coaching, mentoring, or a workshop training, what I hear most in breaks when we get together, people come up to me and say, I'm really glad you're bringing this topic up because I've been concerned that my job is going to definitely be replaced by AI because I've been asked to do this, that, and the other using AI, and that's one of the main things that I do. If you are going to implement AI, you have to establish trust from the onset. It is extremely important. There are organizations right now, huge multi-billion dollar publicly traded companies that have laid off people and have said those individuals were laid off 6,000, 1,000, whatever it's been, because they have found ways to replace those people. So whether or not it's happening in your organization, as a leader, you must have the situation awareness and understanding of that. People are going to hear these stories and be worried. That's why it's important to acknowledge the benefits and limitations of AI. You can get ahead of the doubt and the negativity with strategic messaging, right? What AI does well. Start off with that. Be positive. Route optimization, predictive maintenance, alerts, data pattern recognition. Probably a lot of those, if not all of them, are touched by technology in some way already, right? What AI cannot do right now is make ethical safety decisions, read past your emotional states, and handle unique crisis scenarios. So, right there, you're establishing with your employees that those areas we still need humans, right? It's important. Alignment with goals. How AI supports organizational mission of safe, reliable, and customer oriented service. Bring it back to what matters most: service. How we are going out and able to provide the best service imaginable. And if AI is going to help us do that and make your lives easier and to make sure that things are happening when they should, then these are things that your employees can rally around. Who's going to argue against better safeguards, more reliability of scheduling and fleet management? And of course, anything that relates to customers having a better experience. Here's a sample transparent message that any transportation organization, whether it's for drivers or anyone else operating transportation vehicle of some kind, this is what I would put out if you're about to implement AI in any way. This example is with route planning. We're implementing AI powered route planning to reduce your time in traffic and improve schedule predictability. The system makes suggestions, but you maintain final authority on safety decisions. We're investing in your training because technology works best when it supports your expertise, not replaces it. Okay. So, right there, you're covering a lot of bases in this statement, right? This is definitely a screenshot moment. So, definitely, I'm not going to move forward. I'm going to talk about this a little bit. So, definitely take a screenshot of this. If you talk about, hey, getting ahead of it, we're implementing AI powered route planning, right? This is going to reduce time and traffic. Who doesn't want that? Start off with the positives, improve schedule predictability. This is great for all involved. What I like about this transparent message most is that it solidifies the humans are still important. In that last in that last sentence of the first paragraph, you maintain final authority on safety decisions. Right there, there's a security that your employees are going to feel about their importance in your organization right now, right? And then investing in training. Wow. Again, who's not going to want that? So consider when you're sharing messages, and make sure you actually share a message. I'm hearing that. I'm hearing some crazy things when I'm speaking to my training clients, and the employees are coming up to me and they're saying, they rolled out this AI tool last week, and I don't even know. I'm expected to use it. I have no clue on how to use it. Right? It's important to have a message about it, to explain to people what it is that you expect them to do with it, and really provide that training so that they're not wondering how much should they use this AI tool or this AI technology that's been added to XYZ widget that they've already been using. Explain it. Make sure it's clear. So that's an example of how you can be more transparent with your employees. But what about your stakeholders, your customers, or other partners that you work with? I would say when it comes to customer AI chatbot transparency, the first 60 seconds of user engagement is critical to establish human AI connection. Really, really important. You need to ensure that your stakeholder audience, whoever they are, whoever is your target audience for, if you have a chatbot of any kind, that they know right from the beginning that they're engaging with an AI bot. You should not try to pretend like they're doing something else, that they're talking to. Don't do that. They're going to know certain little nuances pop up. Make sure that's clear. Explain what the user can expect from your AI chatbot experience. What do I mean by that? Well, I think it's important that you let them know that they can ask questions about some of the whatever it is that you've trained the bot to do, right? Share other ways users can attain information regarding your organization with quick access to relevant links and contact numbers. So, say you've trained this AI bot on your app or your website, whatever it is, or your phone system to collect basic information. You may have experienced this yourself. You may have called some other companies in your personal life and you've tried to get to a human, but it says, I'm here, I'm Susie Bot, and I'm here to help, gather this basic information, right? Make it clear to your stakeholders that as they are engaging with the AI chatbot, that they are going to be able to get whatever it is that you've trained it to do. If it's hours of operation, links to price lists, whatever it is, whatever schedules, whatever. Okay. And then once that's maxed out, if the person who's chatting with your AI bot gets to the point where the bot can't help them anymore, ensure that the information that you've trained it to do will provide quick access to contact numbers, right? Is it to speak to a human, that is, right? Or any other relevant links that typically your stakeholder audience needs help with. Bottom line is, most importantly, connect your AI chatbot to human customer service agents. I would say this is important during your designated business hours, and make it easy for the bot users to reach a human. Make it super duper easy. Okay. If it's just that, I am a type of person who has an agenda when I call or reach out or chat on any vendor that I use in my personal or business life. I know what I want, and half the time I need to talk to somebody, and that's just how I am. I'm a communicator by trade, so sue me for that. But I like to be able to get access to a human through the chat bot. So I'll often, I'll see that it's a chat bot, and then I'll say I'll just type the word human, and sometimes I'm able to get a human through a chat bot, and sometimes I'm not. And in those times when I can't, the bot will tell me, where I could go for that extra added customer service with a human or whatever it is. But I think if you have customers that are constantly traveling with your organization and you have normal business hours, if they're 24 hours, great. If they're 12 hours, 8-hour days, whatever, your chatbot should definitely 100% be able to connect someone who has reached that chatbot limit so that they don't end in the chatbot loop, because I hate that loop. It's horrible. They end in, they just keep asking the same question. Well, I want to know this, and the bot keeps saying, well, I don't know that, but don't let that happen. Be able to train your chatbot to escalate your stakeholders who are engaging with it to that next level of customer service during normal business hours to a human. I think that's a really important part. So here is an AI chatbot human interaction case study, and the case study is me. I happen to interact with a chatbot for a brand of mobile phone protection cases that I've been patronizing for many years, and I bought one just right around the same time as I bought my new iPhone. I've been using the same phone case brand, it's OtterBox, I'm not getting paid to talk about them. I'm just a customer. But I've been using their cases for probably almost a decade now. And I've never bought one that got damaged within the first 30 days. Okay. So I discovered, and that what you're seeing in that circle is some of the damage. It's just started, the actual case that protects the phone started breaking away in 30 days. That's never happened. And they do have an amazing warranty program. It's several years out. So I decided on, as you can see, that phone, it says Wednesday, December 31st. That's right, folks. On New Year's Eve, Shakira was on the OtterBox website, and I was chatting with their bot. Okay. And there was no phone number for me to call, right? I had to, in order for me to get customer service that day, I had to chat with the bot. So it welcomed me when I opened it up. It asked me to provide some basic information in case something happened, whatever, whatever. I didn't even want to give them that information. You see what I typed? I typed human because I felt that I needed to talk to somebody. I had this thing for 30, less than almost 30 days, if not exactly 30 days. And I wanted to speak to someone and let them know I'm a loyal customer, and I'm really uncomfortable with the fact that this product now is getting damaged in 30 days, where I have had cases, protective iPhone cases that have lasted years, right? So I asked for the human. You see what happened. It says we're checking to see if any agent's available. And then it says an agent will be with you soon. Now, I had never used this chatbot before. So I was just throwing it out there to see if there was a human. And of course it was. It's a big enough company to have that, especially even on a holiday. And they asked me my email. I engaged with it, gave them some email information. And then I, talked to, is this related to a previous purchase from OtterBox? And I said, no, I actually had purchased it through Amazon. And then it thanked me and told me that I would be connected with someone soon. And part of that chat included that they expected me to wait up to 18 minutes. And I was willing to do that. I had nothing else to do, really. Uh, and it was only about 8 minutes. And then Harris, live agent Harris, you see how it indicates that the agent is live, and that Harris is there to help me. And we start having a conversation. I already, as you can see, I had that photo. I uploaded the photo, showed the damage, explained my story. And it really was quick to get to that point of resolution. I was really impressed with that. Pretty much, Harris, the live agent for OtterBox, asked me a few questions. I showed him some pictures. And really, this was the beginning of them providing me with information on how they were going to replace my case, which I thought was awesome. They didn't even ask me to upload the order from Amazon. I think part of it also helped that the protective case that I purchased was for an iPhone that had only been out the year before. So I think that helped with them not needing any additional proof of purchase. But I had to provide nothing else but that photo. They quickly escalated my order and they said they were going to waive the shipping. And within 3 days, I had a new OtterBox protective case for my new phone. And it was a really smooth experience. They gave me a case number and all of that. It was really great. They emailed everything to me. And they also, one of the important things I wanted to mention is that they also let me know that they were going to have access to my screen. And I think that's important. Any type of disclosure that you can provide to your customers is going to be really important as they engage with AI. But that was a really positive experience. And really, it's a cultural transformation to keep humans at the center, right? It's easy to say, you know what, I don't want to have to deal with humans on the other side of customer service anymore, but you still have to make that available. And creating an environment where AI assists human capabilities. Could AI have helped me all the way through with that replacement? I don't know. But I think it was much smoother for me to be able to have an engagement with someone back and forth about how quickly the case got damaged, the fact that I was a longtime customer, and really that I was expecting a replacement. And it was very, very seamless and efficient. And that was a great example of humans and AI collaborating for a customer service experience. And I should add just this last thing about this case study is that when the live agent joined me, the live agent had already seen what I had answered all those other questions. So it knew my name already and everything. So being able to have that human connection tied to the AI experience and then the human being able to see what happened before they got involved is really important. Employees want AI to augment, not replace their judgment and expertise. And that's really the purpose of AI. It really is to augment their judgment and expertise. And you should make sure that that's the case. Passenger safety and the human imperative, where AI cannot replace judgment. If you were to do a search on human AI collaboration, you're going to find that making decisions, knowledge base, all of that still extremely important as it relates to artificial intelligence being implemented across industries. AI informs decisions. Humans make them. AI provides data and alerts, but human judgment ensures passenger safety. And I think this is important for you to keep in mind. There is a level of human judgment that still needs to prevail when we are talking about keeping people safe. And AI can use algorithms and models and all of that, but in the heat of a moment, there may not be time to wait for AI to decide what to do. Someone who has experience and knowledge of what to do is going to have to take charge in the heat of the moment. And that is the true value of humans. And the more you can express that to your employees, the better. It will make them feel a lot more comfortable about AI implementation if you're able to let them know that they still have value, especially when it comes to safety. Safety is non negotiable human territory, in my opinion. AI can help with weather pattern monitoring and alerts, vehicle maintenance predictions, traffic pattern analysis, tour schedules and planning, and driver fatigue monitoring indicators, all of that. But when we talk about humans should still handle today that real time weather decision to whether to stop or proceed, medical emergency triage and response, custom travel planning, that personalization that one travel group who's been using your fleet, using your company for many years, that they expect. There's these little nuances that humans can only provide right now. The passenger conflict de-escalation. Yeah, you can take some advice from AI on some of those things, but again, in the heat of the moment, it's usually a human that's going to intervene in a way that's going to get both parties to be agreeable and to move forward. Route deviation judgment calls. Now, humans have, many of your drivers, come on, they've been on the road for years, right? And they know what to expect on certain routes. And if AI is saying to go one way, but they know for sure because yesterday they saw XYZ, we still need humans to make that judgment. We don't want them to just be an order taker for AI, right? And of course, evacuation procedures in a crisis. Again, AI can map that out, but it's the human that's in that position in that moment that can see exactly what's going on and make a judgment call on what to do. Crisis management requires the human touch. During crises, passengers, the general public, whoever, they respond to human composure and communication clarity, right? Think about if someone is hysterical in a crisis situation, that's going to have a ripple effect, right? So that's why it's important that humans are involved because humans can actually read the room, if you will, and understand how they need to react in order to either calm people, right? Or keep them focused on what to do next. And then making sure that communication is clear on what to do next. AI assists, human personnel exhibit emotional authority. Can AI exhibit emotion if it's trained to? It can. but you want to focus in on that if it's trained to, right? So if it's trained, it will exhibit, it will say, like, oh, this is terrible. I apologize. But it's not coming from the emotional perspective of a human. So keep that in mind. Here are all the situations in which the human touch is extremely, extremely important: emergency management, assessing injuries, coordinating emergency response, workforce disruptions, managing employee strikes, shutdowns, and contract negotiations. At the time of this recording, America is witnessing how airport employees are being really, really tested in their ability to manage disruption at the TSA lines, and people being upset, and customers not really adjusting well to having to arrive 6 hours in advance for wherever they're going at airports. And that's just, again, that's an airport example, understanding this is the ABA, but it's a perfect example to show how important it is for humans to have the ability to assess and be there to manage a situation, right? Mechanical breakdowns, evaluating safety of continuation, arranging passenger accommodations, managing expectations. Yes, AI can assist with this, but we need humans to exhibit that emotional authority when it comes to this, because these are very sometimes disruptive situations that are happening. And of course, severe weather scenarios, deciding whether to shelter in place or continue, and finding safe haven, etc. All really important for humans to have some sort of perspective based on knowledge and judgment, and not just what an AI model has told them to do. Team leadership and driver development. Emotional intelligence cannot be automated yet. Again, when I talk about not automating emotional intelligence, it doesn't mean that an AI model doesn't say sorry, but does it mean it? It's saying sorry because it's trained to say sorry, or it apologizes for a bad experience, etc. Right? But it's not from a place of emotion like humans can exhibit. And the Society of Human Resource Management, SHRM, they did a 2026 HR trend report, and it found that 1 in 4 of those surveyed said that HR played a leading role in AI implementation. But then they also said that 67% believe HR should lead change management. So that's pretty lopsided. So most people that were surveyed said, yeah, HR should be in charge of at least that change management piece of AI. But then when they surveyed, they noticed that only 1 in 4 thought that HR should play a role. So that we have this disconnect, and that's not good. I believe in the transportation industries, and when I talk to any group and in a workshop or a webinar training like this, I always want them to look at it from the perspective of their particular industry. And in transportation, operations managers must champion AI adoption with frontline teams. That's a no-brainer. All right. Safety directors should integrate AI tools into training protocols. Why is that important? Well, people need to have an understanding. Your employees need to have an understanding of how they can use AI in certain situations, and when they should and when they shouldn't, right? So integrating the AI tools into training protocols is going to provide some information ahead of when they really need it, to have an understanding of when they should use their personal judgment, their human intelligence versus AI. HR partnering with operations to manage the human side of change. This, again, I think HR definitely should be involved. If there's an HR communications person on staff, 100%. But if there's someone if HR itself is not equipped to communicate, then also I will add to that HR and in your comms department should partner together with operations for that human side of change. And then lastly, leadership must model balanced AI human collaboration. They must demonstrate it from the top. If you're in any type of leadership, and I'm not just talking C-suite, I'm talking at the manager level, really kind of helping to your employees to see what's important when it comes to AI and human collaboration. I was speaking with one of my participants in a recent corporate training I was conducting. And this individual was a little upset because she had just attended a meeting where she felt scolded along with her coworkers that she wasn't using AI enough. And she said, "I don't even understand what using AI enough really means. What does it mean for my job?" And that's why it's important that it is explained. It is explained from the top to the individual department heads, and for to filter down from there what's expected when it comes to AI implementation and collaboration. Leadership functions that require a human touch: coaching and mentoring, conflict resolution, morale building, and performance management. Boom. That's exactly the areas that I feel are important for that human touch. Coaching and mentoring today is probably more important than ever. And it doesn't have to be a formal program. It could just be that someone with more experience sees someone with less experience who needs a little bit of a lift. They need a little bit more information. I'm good for that. I will do that all the time. I have consulting clients, and I'm talking to one of the employees, and they ask me something, and it could be that it's just something that I know, and I just give them a little piece of advice. Obviously, conflict resolution, absolutely. We talked about that earlier. Morale building. It's important to really recognize individual contributions and to celebrate when someone shows growth or they've done something great, and or addressing any type of concerns that people have, and making sure that individuals are being seen and heard are a really important part of being a leader, and also providing that human touch. And of course, performance management has always been something that has had a human touch. Yes, there's a lot of automation with that now, but we can't forget that people are still expecting some sort of feedback, some sort of conversation, and really making sure that things are done fairly. Remember that AI can track metrics, but human leaders understand people. Again, your ability to use and leverage your emotional intelligence and being able to have judgment, leveraging the experience that you have, no matter how many years you have, is an important part of being a great leader and providing a proper human AI collaboration. Using human skills in the intelligence age. Here are my top irreplaceable human skills in transportation. When I showed this a similar graph like this to another group, everybody started taking screenshots of this. So I definitely expect you to do the same thing. When it comes to human skills, empathy and judgment, of course, again, AI's limitation, it cannot infer complex human emotion. It can be told to say things that sound like emotion, but it's fake, right? Relevant human value, passenger comfort, and crisis reassurance. Contextual decision making. What I find AI does is, if it doesn't have the information, meaning it hasn't been trained to answer a question, it'll just take you in an endless circle, and you don't want that, right? So it's important that humans get involved, because your workforce can leverage situational awareness. Situational awareness is a compilation of everything that you've known and encountered as in your personal life and work life. And being able to leverage that for decision making is a powerful skill of a human. And of course, trust and relationship building. No emotional connection is provided by AI, right? It's, again, it could be trained to sound like it's emotional, but it is not. Humans exhibit emotion. And that's why it's important that humans are still involved, so that we can maintain team cohesion and, of course, help to support passenger loyalty, etc. Active listening, one of the most important emotional intelligence skills to have today. We are always being pulled in different directions, and our attention spans are becoming way less than they used to be. And more people on your team, including yourself, need to be active listening. Active listening means that we try to understand things from the speaker's point of view, and it's an attitude that leads to listening for shared understanding. Some of the fundamentals behind this include to listen with intent, making sure that you are there and paying attention, and there's nothing else taking away your focus on what's going on. Listening with interest. I always say if you're not able to be committed to the conversation or be there just to listen for something that you need to hear, reschedule the meeting or send someone else on your behalf. Just don't waste time. Try to get rid of any assumptions, which are considered barriers, right? Don't go into any conversation, any situation where you're communicating and you're feeling like, oh, this is another one of those blah, blah, blahs. Set that aside because that's going to interfere with your ability to actively listen. And always listen for what is not said. I'm finding that to be one of the most valuable skills that people overlook is listening for what is not said. And you can't hear what's not being said if you're not there with intent, if you're not listening with interest. Here are some physical indicators to demonstrate that you are actively listening. Making contact. And this is something you can focus on so that you're able to be present and aware, right? Maybe nod your head from time to time, leaning into the combo. Verbal cues. Yes. Asking questions. Asking questions helps the person that is addressing you or have asked to meet with you or you've asked to meet with them. Asking questions says, you know what? I've been listening and I want to know more. And that's important. And if you want to make sure you didn't miss anything, be sure to summarize your statements. And if you focus on some of these, it's almost forcing you to be more of an active listener than you have been. Here are some tips for becoming a better listener, which is very important. Again, these are human skills that we still bring to the table. You are going to demonstrate as a leader, as someone who's working with others, that you are of value because you're there and you're present. And some ways to do that is to absolutely make a decision to listen. Try not to interrupt. Sometimes it's hard to do, but try not to. Keep your eyes focused on the speaker and your ears tuned to their voice. And of course, again, ask those questions. Listening more leads to discovery and innovation. I guarantee you, you are missing a whole lot of stuff when you are not paying attention, okay? And if you are not present, if you're not listening with intent and listening with interest, you are going to miss out on opportunities to either maybe even leverage AI for different parts of what you do, or even recommend it to someone else, or to improve a process, or to make the customer experience, more enjoyable. Always listening. This is again something that AI, yeah, you can turn on one of those AI tools that takes the note takers. Yeah, they'll do that and they'll summarize it, right? And it's helpful. But imagine if you just sent the bot to the meeting, which people do now, and the difference between you being there and listening and then reading the summary and then that kind of solidifying what you heard, or just reading the summary and not being there to hear those nuances that weren't captured as part of your AI summary. Just think about that. Here's a quote from the great Jimi Hendrix. Knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens. And I always say, you know what? This is very, very smart. And, whether or not he was tripping on acid when he said this, I have no idea, but it makes a lot of sense. Wisdom is what we bring to the table, folks, as humans. And this is an important part of making sure that your employees understand this and that they're still needed because of that. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is our ability to accurately identify emotions in ourselves and others. I've mentioned this before because right now, AI is not really able to do this without being told that it should exhibit that by saying a few words here and there, right? When we exhibit emotional intelligence, it's about understanding and managing emotions and using and effectively communicating those emotional feelings in such a way that allows people to know that either we understand where they're coming from, to help people be seen and heard, or to help yourself be seen or heard. When we talk about empathy and sympathy, the difference between the two is that empathy means understanding the other person's feelings and recognizing what those feelings mean, including their context. And sympathy is just sorrow and pity for someone. And if you ever have a confusion about the differences between these two, I always say, think about the type of card you give someone when they are dealing with a personal loss or a death in the family, right? You typically will send a sympathy card, right? Because you want to express feelings of sorrow or pity, right? You don't want to do that with your coworkers or your team that you manage, right? You want to exhibit empathy because people want to be seen and heard, not pitied. Recognizing different perspectives. Learn to take others' points of view and feelings as well as your own into consideration. Again, I'm telling you all of this because it's important to maintain your value. This is what you bring to the table as a human, and you need to help the members of your team understand this as well. When we talk about taking others' points of view and feelings as well as our own into consideration, it really is about reframing things and seeing things from a different point of view. Something, again, that humans do very well, where AI can be trained to do it, but it's not the same from because we're able to process the information from a different perspective. Always apply a positive intent, which is including the idea that you have good reason for what you're saying, and also other people have the same good reason. In order to demonstrate your positive intent, avoid making negative assumptions and statements and focus on the future instead of the past. It is easy to get caught up in the attitude of, knowing, thinking about things that happened before and having and coming into a conversation like that. Again, if you want to bring value and really make sure you demonstrate this to your staff and to your coworkers, to that you bring that value, that positive intent is to keep everybody going and feeling good, and really really seeing that other people also have positive intent about whatever it is that they're bringing. And if you can convey that as you are deploying AI, you're going to have a win. Remember that humans can use phrases to express empathy. And again, this is something that you're going to be bringing to the table, especially as individuals start to get concerned about AI implementation. Okay. Some people are going to be very worried when you start to roll out something that overlaps on what they do. And you need to demonstrate empathy when this happens, right? You need to use the phrases like I hear, I understand, I think you're saying, right? Make sure you're providing them with an understanding, something again that AI doesn't do well right now. And you need to help them see that you are listening to them and you recognize that they may not be comfortable right now with what's going on and the changes that are happening in the industry, but you need to be there for them because that is the value you bring as a human to the situation. The ability to adapt communication style with emotional intelligence ensures that messages resonate while providing a human connection where AI currently can't deliver. And that's something I want you to take to heart and to really remember. Why human AI collaboration is our competitive advantage. It really is. We really have to look at it this way, folks. Organizations that get human AI collaboration right can attract and retain top drivers and tour operators, build stronger safety culture with higher compliance, create customer loyalty through authentic relationships. And I think that's a really important part of it, because there are companies that have deployed AI to replace humans in a way that is really undermine those authentic customer relationships, and it's damaging to loyalty. Achieve operational efficiency without sacrificing quality. And AI does a great job of that too, but we do need AI humans in the mix with AI for that really to be efficient. And of course, demonstrate through superior human service, making sure that you are exhibiting emotional intelligence and that you're listening, actively listening, and providing that human touch, that those feelings and connections that AI currently is unable to do. This is a great moment also to take a screenshot for you to remember. AI is a tool. Humans are the advantage. The human connection is your team's differentiator. If you save that to use when you roll out an AI tool or whatever it is, that is something that's going to add a level of comfort, right? Because you're putting humans at the forefront, right? This is another moment for a screenshot. This is what I call my human AI trust loop. The last time I showed this, I had a lot of people asking questions afterwards about it. Transparent communication leads to employee confidence. When you have employee confidence, you're going to have people with better AI usage. You don't know why? Because they're going to feel comfortable, right? Because you've talked about it. You came out with them straight with the information they needed so they could feel confident in using AI. And that leads to improved public trust. And then finally, stronger organizational reputation because everything is working together in that continuum. Here are your key takeaways, folks. Your path forward. AI may chart the route, but humanity determines the destination. Always lead with empathy, collaborate with purpose, protect safety and dignity at every stop. And most importantly, remember this: AI isn't just the new face of work, it's what allows our human talent to shine brighter. And make sure that you use your human skills every day to ensure that you shine brighter. And with that, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch my webinar here. And here are those 4 continuing education gifts. Feel free to use the QR code or visit shakirabrown.com/ABA26 Human AI. These gifts are going to help you to continue learning a little bit more. Everybody should grab that human AI collaboration tips guide that's available. Also, you can fill out, it's a form, by the way. I forgot to mention that. When you get to the site, you're going to fill out a form. It's quick, and you're going to select any of these. The PDF you can get, that's a downloadable. You can also attend a virtual executive forum that I'm going to be putting together. Schedule a no-cost one-on-one coaching session with me. If you have any questions, any doubts about how you're going to really use what you learned, schedule one of those one-on-one coaching sessions with me. And you can also schedule a no-cost virtual team communication pulse check, right? And all those details are at the link, or use the QR code. I invite you to do that. Choose all that you need from there, and I'm really happy to provide that to you. It's for a limited time. Don't wait. Grab yours, schedule it. I'll make sure it's really, really convenient for you, of course. And I really thank you for joining me. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn at Shakira Brown, Instagram Shakira Brown Speaker, or on X at Shakira Brown. You can always you can always reach out to me through my website, shakirabrown.com. And I'll just add this one last thing. When you are preparing to roll out any type of new technology related to AI, I want you to take a step back and think about how you would receive that information if the shoe was on the other foot. And understand that no matter what you think about your employees and how you've spoken to them before about rollouts, the noise in the industry and outside the industry is all about people being concerned about AI taking over for humans, okay? So what I want you to do is to take the time to understand how your employees are going to react and create messages that are transparent and that also makes them feel good, even if it's just for this one time, even for this one message that you're going to be sending. Make them feel good about what's happening and remind them of how important they are to your operation, and that the value they bring, they have within them, and that's still needed. And in this industry, transportation industry and travel industries, it's really still important because there are a lot of things that could interrupt travel, that people encounter bad situations and experiences, that humans can help deal with these situations and resolve any sort of disputes. That alone will support your efforts to have a more cohesive implementation and rollout, and to ensure human AI collaboration stays at the forefront. And with that, I will thank you again and have a great day.